Hey everybody, it's Sam Lutari here, and welcome to a new series called Sam Talks. Now, hopefully I did this one or the Final Fantasy job system will be up, but I'm pretty sure it's this one because the Final Fantasy job system just takes way too damn long. So today, we're going to talk about one of my least favorite things in gaming, which is level grinding. Yay! No, not really. So basically, imagine it this way. You're playing your favorite game of all time. And even if it's not your favorite game of all time, you're playing a game that you've gotten really good at, that you're getting into. You start it without a hitch, you're going through it, you're beating every boss, you haven't died once, you're feeling really powerful, and then there's a few times where you basically just got lucky. Alright, so you're going through all this shit and you're thinking, man, I got really lucky on this fight and let's keep going, let's see how far we can get. And then there's always that one area, you make it through every other area, and then there's just that one that you come across where you just, you come across a boss, or you come across an enemy, or you come across a section where you're dying all the time, your armor's not high enough, your freaking weapon's not high enough, or you can't get to this certain section because you have to be a certain level, or you have to know a certain skill. And in order to know that certain skill, you have to be a certain level, or, this is applicable to every game, which includes a leveling system. And so, we're talking World of Warcraft, we're talking Pokemon, we're talking Final Fantasy, and it all comes down to the inevitable grind. And grinding to me, not talking about Dirty Dancing, mind you, but grinding to me can actually be a game killer. Okay, for some people, they know that grinding is inevitable, and so they don't really mind it, and they know the motions of it. It's like, okay, we're gonna go to this area with high-level monsters, kill a few, heal, and we'll keep doing that until we can almost one-shot them. When we one-shot them, we know we've leveled up enough, and it's a system, but there's just some of us, meaning me, where when we come to the inevitable grind, we sit there and we're like, really? No. Because it steals hours and hours and hours away from your life. Okay, take for example, Final Fantasy III. I'm playing Final Fantasy III on my DS right now, because my friend Shujo, I'll just say Shujo, my friend Shujo really wanted me to play Final Fantasy III. He's like, oh, you have that game? You should totally pick it up again. Truth be told, I only got 5 hours into the game, and whenever I ran into a section where I didn't know what to do, and I had to grind, or so I thought, I literally just quit the game. I was like, nope, this is stupid, not gonna do it. I already get frustrated with job systems enough, which I'll explain in the job system video, but I already get frustrated enough with having to choose job systems and have to get appropriate jobs per team to make a good strategy. But then you get into the fact that you have to level grind, and then after level grinding, it's just, I literally just don't want to know. It's like I want to be able to advance in the storyline. To me, video games are an interactive story, and a story is not something where you're like, oh, I'm going to pick it up, I'm going to read a few pages, and then I'm going to spend 12 hours looking at the page and not advancing. That's kind of how level grinding is you read a chapter, then you look at the second chapter, you're literally just looking at the page, and then you don't read it. You're just looking at that same chapter 2 over and over and over again for however many hours, and then you finally advance and you keep reading. That's how level grinding works in my mind. So when I have to go and start level grinding, I usually quit the game. And if the grinding won't take too long, I suck it up and I do it. Especially when it comes to Pokemon, I know that level grinding is a necessity, and while I do hate it, I always do it because I always have to beat Pokemon games. But Final Fantasy, those games are already so long as it is, and when you have to spend 3 whole days grinding and gaining minimum experience and minimum guild just to, get to a fraction of where you need to be, it's just easier to put the game down, say it was nice knowing you, than it is to actually go through and conquer it. But I recently had this epiphany, not really an epiphany, but it was a thought that I really hate the fact that I have not beaten many games, and the only reason why I have not beaten games is because I'm not a high enough level to beat a final boss or something. And it really frustrates me because it would be so simple just to, you know, find the boss or know where the boss is, which I generally do because I'm usually at that boss, you know, and it's like just level up a little bit and then have at it. I kind of got off subject of my Final Fantasy III story, but there was this part where I had to go fight a boss called Gutsko, and I had to fight him for the second time. First time I beat him, no problem, super easy. Second time he turns into a salamander, and the salamander was kicking my ass, literally kicking my ass, and it got really frustrating because I was so close to beating the salamander, but with 2 hits, like, my characters would practically be dead. I couldn't heal fast enough, and then there was just everything else going on. So I had to sit there, and I leveled up for 2 days, which leveling up in Final Fantasy takes a while, so in 2 days I was only able to gain, like, maybe 5 levels or something. And so after gaining 5 levels, I went in again, and I still had a hard time beating the salamander, but I managed to beat him a lot quicker than what I did before, and only 1 person died. So I was pretty happy. But yeah, and same with World of Warcraft. Like, you get into a certain area where you just have to grind, and the enemy monsters don't offer you very much experience. The only way to gain experience is to either find really super tough elite monsters, or go on quests to gain experience, you know? And me, I'm the type of person where I do every quest. I don't just pick and choose to advance the story. I actually literally go through and do every quest, like even the ones that don't offer me very much experience. I go and do them because I know that later on down the line, like, that experience is going to come in handy and I'm really going to need it. You know, and same thing with Guild Wars. You know, you couldn't advance unless, like, that's what I found hard about Guild Wars, is you couldn't really get any experience unless you went on quests, and if you were having trouble with the quests, then you couldn't really grind by defeating monsters, so you always had to join a team and have people, like, either help you with your quest or help you level up by power leveling. And then once you got to, like, the ultimate level, like, things were still extremely hard, and because you couldn't level up anymore, it got really frustrating really fast. So yeah, not really sure what this whole Sam Talks thing is about, but really, that's all I really wanted to explain, was just level grinding. You basically get to this part where you're in a game and you're wanting to advance, and then you're stuck. And then you basically have to run around and you're wondering what the hell you're doing, and it's a really sad thing. It really is. Because then you spend the next however many days or hours leveling up, and then you can finally advance, and sometimes even then you grind only to figure out later on down the road that you really have no idea how far you need to grind, or how much you need to grind, or you didn't grind enough, and yeah. So I guess the whole point of this is I want to know what you guys think about the whole level grinding thing. Like, is it something that you dread in video games? Is it something that you basically just suck up and say, it doesn't really matter to me? Like, is level grinding, I guess, a gaming mood killer for you? Honestly, like, it seriously is for me. I mean, that's another reason why I have not been playing the Final Fantasy Legend, but because there is no experience. And so there really is no way to level up. But I do have to fight in order to get money. I do have to fight to get money so that I can buy advancements like better strength and better health and etc. So yeah, so I really want to know what you think. Like, some people don't mind grinding because they know it's an inevitable part of the game. Some people are like me, and grinding can actually be a game killer. Most people just suck it up and do it because they don't like the fact that a game has defeated them mentally, and yeah, so I literally just want to know what you guys think, because it's a pretty interesting subject for me. It's not really something that people usually cover. If you do have to level grind, like, how do you go about it? Like, do you use cheats to kind of level up your characters, or do you power level? Which, if you don't know already, power leveling is where you get a higher level person to join you in some way, shape, or form where it's applicable, and then they take you to all these high level places and they kill stuff for you while you just kind of stand in the background and you gain all the levels for it. So yes, do you have people power level you? Do you use cheats to level up? I mean, I'm not judging. I don't power level, and I mean, I power level my friends, but I personally don't power level. I'm way too stubborn. I don't use cheats, mostly because 1, I don't have the equipment to even begin to do it, 2, cheats are way too damn complicated, and 3, it really does take away from the game, and I feel guilty every time I use cheats. But yeah, so do you power level, do you cheat, do you just suck it up and actually level grind until you have to freaking, you know, at least give the boss another shot? How many bosses am I stuck on right now? Like, Clock Tower 3, it took me forever to beat him, and I still consider I still think that I didn't really finally beat the boss of Clock Tower 3. What other bosses? I know that there are a few other games where I got to, like, the very end and never won. Anyways, that's all I got for now, but thanks for tuning in to Sam's Talks. Hopefully my next conversations will be a little more interesting. Thanks for tuning in. Hit like if you'd like to see more. Hit subscribe to make me feel loved, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.